Hello all and welcome, and I am the MGTOW philosopher, and in this video I would like to talk about a woman who is being glorified, yes, glorified by the Australian media for, get this, sleeping with no less than 10,000 men. That's right, 10,000 men. You just gotta love these cucked, messed up, feminist countries in the West, huh? Australia, Germany, Sweden, Canada, ain't they grand? Sleep with 10,000 men, and you're a woman, and you're glorified. If you were a man who had slept with 10,000 women, well, you'd be a pig. Anyway, let's get to the meat of this article, shall we? Let's start with the title. Gwyneth Montenegro is a former sex worker who has slept with more than 10,000 men. This woman was a sex worker for 12 years. Here she answers all our questions about the reality of sex. Yeah, just trivialize it, why don't you? Yeah, just 10,000 men, no big deal. Oh, it's so interesting. Let's talk to her, this hero of women, this liberated woman. Yeah. So here we have a picture of the woman with a golden vagina. More accurately, the stretched-out vagina after sleeping with 10,000 men. Oh, my God, there can't be any elasticity left there. Eek. Not a very attractive woman. I guess that's what happens after you've had 10,000 cocks inside you and 12 years of having to booze it, sniff it, do all the cocaine in the world and the crack and the meth and whatever drugs she had to do to get herself through the day. I guess that's what you look like at the end of it. 39. Oh, she don't look so good. Gwyneth Montenegro says she slept with more than 10,000 men. Yeah, not so sure I believe that. Among feminist cunts like this broad, how many men you slept with? Oh, they think it's some kind of bragging rights. Yeah, just like it would be for a man. Yeah, not in today's world. You're considered a pig if you're a man and you've slept with that many women. But of course, now the tables have been turned. The script has been flipped. And now if you're a woman, ooh, it's bragging rights to say how many men you've slept with, and the more, the better. It shows how liberated you are, and how much you flip the script, and how much you now objectify men, and they deserve it. Ooh, those evil men, they deserve to be objectified and treated like the sexual objects that they are. Yeah, she first stepped into a brothel at age 21. Lured by the prospect of earning up to $1,000 for an hour's work. Yikes. That's a lot of money, by the way. $1,000 an hour. Undeserved, of course. There's no woman on this earth that's worth that much money. There's no woman on this earth that's worth any of that money. Vaginas are pedestrian. Every woman's got one. Nothing special about them. Well, she doesn't regret her 12 years as a sex worker. Yeah, I bet you she doesn't. She made a fortune. Of course, she probably squandered it all being a woman. They don't know how to save money. But anyway, Montenegro, now 39. 39? Holy shit, she looks a hell of a lot older. Says she's glad to be out. Yeah, well, she's got to say that, doesn't she? Trust me, she ain't glad to be out. She wishes she could be back in. She wishes she could still be making $1,000 an hour and getting all that attention from men. But when you have hagged yourself out after 12 years of boozing it, sniffing it, smoking it, whatever, to get yourself through the day and the next big fat slob that's going to be on top of you for an hour, well, you're not going to look so good and you're going to hit the wall prematurely. So, yeah, she had to give it up. She's glad she's out. No, she's not glad she's out. She just has to say that. That's all. Trust me, she's not glad. She still wishes she could make $1,000 an hour, but nobody's going to pay her hagged out, wrinkled up, gray-haired ass $1,000 an hour. She'd be lucky to make $1. She'd be lucky to get sex in exchange for, oh, I don't know, a tic-tac. Now she's trained in neuro-linguistic programming. Non-subject, of course, an approach to personal development and psychotherapy. More psychobabble bullshit that isn't a real thing. Made popular by American motivational speaker Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, he's a big scam artist. Self-help guru my ass. Of course, she went from one way of robbing men to another way of robbing men. Don't you just love it? She teaches women how to understand men and get the most out of their relationships. Oh, so she's now went from robbing men to robbing women. I see. Well, she has no scruples at all. She's an equal opportunity scam artist. Neuro-linguistic programming. Get the fuck out of here. That's not even a real thing. Here she answers all our questions about the reality of sex, and we just can't wait to hear it. Because, 10,000 men, she's so strong and independent. She's a real woman. Ooh, wow, we really admire her. And trust me, even after 10,000 men, she don't know what men want, okay? Trust me. Well, anyway, let's get to what she has to say, because I'm sure it'll be laughable. Laughable! And by the way, if you thought that prior picture was okay, take a look at this one. Yeah, not so good looking, is she? No, and that's with lots of makeup. So let's hear what this expert in men, has to say. First question from the interviewer, who's a woman and a feminist, obviously, and admires her so much. How did you first get into sex work? Of course, sex work that you had to get into because of the evil patriarchy. I never wanted to get into the sex industry in the first place. I was 18. I went out to a nightclub and my drink was spiked and I got taken away and gang raped by 6 to 8 men. Of course! Didn't I say it? Didn't I say it? Didn't I call it? I haven't even read this article, and I called patriarchy, which is really just a big, grand, general way of blaming men for women's problems. Didn't I call it? Didn't I call it that she was going to blame men for getting into sex work? Of course! I can't remember exactly how many, because I was so out of it. It kind of changed my opinion about myself. I felt I wasn't worthy anymore, that I wasn't good enough. I came from a Christian family, and I was saving myself from marriage, and then I got raped. Oh, and the patriarchy raped me, and so I had to become a sex worker. I just continued to be a victim for 12 years, and it was all men's fault. The patriarchy. The patriarchy. So I went the other way. I was very promiscuous. I ended up in the tabletop dancing industry when I was 19, but it wasn't my fault. I didn't make that choice. Those men that raped me made that choice for me. I see. How did you transition from stripping to being paid for sex? I felt that I'd already crossed the line when I stripped, so it didn't seem that far off at the time. Yet, you know, most strippers are whores, really. They'll give you at least a hand job, blow job, whatever. I thought, oh, well, if I don't like it, I can always walk out after the first shift. Of course, you were getting paid $1,000 an hour, so I'm sure you freaking loved it. Oh, but you blame men. I didn't really love it. It was men's fault that I loved it. It was totally surreal. Once you've been paid for sex once, you can't take that back. You mean you're addicted and you can't quit because you did it for 12 years, but I'm sure that's the patriarchy's fault as well. I just found I was able to compartmentalize and switch my feelings off. Like a psychopath, you mean? Because I already felt dirty. The money was really good. Well, there you go. And that's really, she mentions that as if it's an afterthought, but that's really the real reason she was doing it. Felt good. And because she's being objectified by men, they want her, they crave her, she craves that validation, and really it's all about the money. You know, it's craving validation and money. Money, 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 money. Guys out there who think women are not all about money, check this broad out. She's a perfect example of what your average woman is like and what they would do if they probably looked the way she did at 21, although now, again, after 12 years of hagging herself out on drugs and booze and 10,000 guys, that's the end result. The money was really good, and it kept me in the industry for all those years. I don't recommend anybody do it. And yet, here you are, doing a news article telling people how much money you made, and you're kind of glorifying it, but you don't recommend anybody does it? Well, you kind of are. Anyway, to continue, the reporter asks, how much money did you charge? You can tell the reporter is fascinated by this stuff. I mean, these questions, oh, how much did you charge? Ooh, and she's like really excited to get all these answers. It's so interesting. Yes. You admire this woman, don't you, you feminist cunt reporter who's doing the interview? I would charge $500 to $1,000 an hour. Good God almighty. By the way, anybody out there, can you think of any woman that it would be worth anywhere near this much? They're not even worth anything, okay? You got to realize that the only difference between men and women sexually is we have our penis on the outside. Theirs on the inside. Theirs is just inverted. That's it. Vagina, penis. One is not worth more than the other. Yet so many full men paid this broad $1,000 an hour? You idiots! That depended on the services. Usually you had to do quite a bit for that. Yeah, I guess for $1,000 an hour you had to do anal. I was so young and naive when I started out. I was a good country girl. Well, good country girl. Good country girls don't strip. Had become prostitutes. I was so surprised when someone paid me for sex Right. Now, I bet it felt good, didn't you? That validation, that cash money, that validation that you're beautiful, that confirmation that you are an attractive woman, that you have power over men. You love that, didn't you, bitch? I wasn't very experienced, and the ladies told me a basic thing is basic sex and a massage. I was naive. Well, I thought it wasn't you. I thought it was men's fault. Now you're naive? Everything with a woman is not taking responsibility. Just deflect. Patriarchy, men, naivete. I didn't even know what the extras were. Over time, I would do other things, like I was able to do kissing and toys and dress up. Oh, my God. Did you have to do anything really crazy? All this stuff to me sounds pretty crazy as it is. A lot of them don't want all this hardcore kinky sex. That's such a small percentage of the men. I was in the industry for 12 years. That's a long time. But yeah. Oh, my God. 12 years as a hooker? I mean, can you imagine? Have any of you guys seen these, like, porn chicks? I mean, they're only good for like 1 or 2, 3 years. By the time they reach year 3 or 4, depending on how many drugs they've done or how much boozing they've done, they look terrible. They are so hagged out. Can you imagine 12 years? My God. I mean, there must have been some real desperate men by year 12 that were into like grannies or some shit. Can you imagine? I mean, she slept with more guys than like, Jesus Christ, than a porn star. How many porn stars are going to be with 10,000 guys, okay? Not too many. I mean, that's, good Lord, have mercy. So this woman essentially had more sex than your average porn star. Jeez Louise. But I didn't see a lot of men that had the sick fantasies. Yeah, their fantasies were sick. Yeah, because you're such a moral, upright woman. You can moralize about what's sick and what isn't. Mostly it was just normal sex. Was it always just about sex, or did the men want emotional comfort too? It's more than just sex. Of course, you have to tell yourself that, because otherwise you would feel low and dirty and demeaned, and which is what you really are. You're a low-down, dirty dog. There's always a psychological motivation for sex. It's not just a physical urge. What are you talking about? She already shows how little she knows about sex. It is just a physical urge, you dumb cunt. You're telling yourself it had some kind of deeper meaning, so you'll feel better about having been a whore for 12 years. A lot of the clients I would see would be an hour plus, and I mean, sure, they wanted the sex, but a big part of my job was just talking. Really? Nobody wanted to hear what you had to say. Trust me, honey. This is the way most women delude themselves. They think we give a shit about what they actually have to say, but we don't. Can you imagine you pay this broad $1,000 an hour and she spends most of it talking? I want my fucking money back. Jesus Christ, I'd pay her extra just to shut the fuck up. There was always some sort of psychological game from it. There was always a feeling of, you could sort of tell they felt more validated as a man, or some of them felt like, I can control you. They'd walk out with this strut. Yeah, it's such a sophisticated scenario. It's nothing as lowbrow and dirty as just him paying to fuck me. Yeah, I'm not some common whore. Yeah, tell yourself whatever you need to, honey, to sleep at night. The next question. Now, here we go. We're going to find out how much she really knows about men. We already can tell she don't know jack shit. Why do you think men seek out sex workers? Because that man feels emasculated in his relationship. He wants to feel masculine again. This is just psychopathy. She probably learned from her neurolinguistics self-help bullshit class. It's not true. Total, utter nonsense. Sorry about that. Some video started playing for no apparent reason in the background. It's total utter nonsense. She doesn't know anything about men. No, we do not hook up with hookers because we feel emasculated. I'm such a weak man. To being in a relationship with a woman makes me feel emasculated. I can't be around a real woman. I need to be someone because I'm such a weak, pathetic simp. So this is her view of men. We're weak, we're pathetic, we get with our woman and we can't handle the relationship. We're so weak and pathetic, it emasculates us to be in a relationship. So we need to feel masculine again by controlling some woman. No, we just want you to get the fuck out. We just want to have sex without some babbling cunt fucking nagging us and annoying us. And we want to be with somebody who's hotter than the broad that we're with, who's probably gotten to be a big fat cow because you were stupid enough to get into a long-term relationship with her, let her live with you, or, good God, have kids with you, or marry her. The ultimate sin. So, no, honey, you don't know a goddamn thing about men. This just goes to show how dumb women are. She slept with 10,000 men in a 12-year period, and she doesn't know a goddamn thing about men. They're seeking validity for their virility. Virility is very important to men. Hey, you dumb bitch. We just want to get off. We just want to shoot our load and go home. Okay? We have some cackling shrew at home who's a cunt. And we're coming to you because you're not a cackling shrill cunt. And you have a tight firm ass and some nice tits. And you have a tight pussy that hasn't been stretched out by watermelon-sized heads passing through it. What a dummy. She's trying to add more meaning, okay, more psychological overtones, more sophistication to her job to try and make it look like something more than it is, which is just a pedestrian lay with a dirty whore. There's also a group of men who want to play the game. They get an intense delight out of controlling women. Yeah, we're all such evil, misogynistic cunts, aren't we? They get more of a kick out of feeling like they control you than they do off of actual sex. So a lot of it's from a psychological motivation. Yeah, I would reckon that that's a very small percentage of your clients who are like BDSM type, okay? Oh, yeah, this woman. Do you think men have changed over the years? I don't want to be so brazen as to just blame feminism for this. Of course not! You're a direct beneficiary of feminism. The cunt whore who has sold herself out to the media, who is interviewing you, she's a feminist, you're a feminist, you have feminism to thank for you being able to go into a newspaper and get an interview done where you say you fucked 10,000 men for money and you're celebrated for it. Only feminism could make that possible. However, I think there's a part to play where men do feel emasculated because of cunts like you had to pitch to in this interview. Thank God you're single, and I'm sure you're single. Any woman that's had this many cocks go through her, there ain't no way she's going to have a boyfriend. You're damaged goods, honey. They don't know. Should I open the door? Will I get yelled at? That's as harsh as you can be on feminism, obviously, because she has to thank for her success and her ability to essentially brag about being such a whore. A lot of the time, the grip is they don't know what it is to be a man anymore. They've lost their way. Oh, yeah, we've lost our way because of feminism, you dumb bitch. Don't you know? Of course you love it, though, because feminism has significantly increased the number of people going to prostitutes. They're your bread and butter. Or they were, because nobody would pay this woman anymore because she's post-wall big time. What advice can you give to women who say they're baffled or completely confused by the behavior of men? I'll tell you what advice I would give them. What are you fucking kidding me? How are you confused by the behavior of men? Men are the most simple fucking creatures on earth, especially compared to women, okay? Stay thin, keep your hair long, all right? Don't talk too much. Cook a meal every once in a while. Have sex with us when we want to have sex. Oh, God, no. That's all too difficult. And we're lazy fucking cunts. So we're going to create this whole fucking ideology and movement, and we're going to act like we're fucking confused, like we don't know what men really want, because the alternative is too difficult for us to do. Oh, I got to love her advice, too. This is the typical advice you would get from a psychopath. Detach the emotions. Yeah. Good advice if you're a psychopath or a sociopath, which he's probably both. Look at it from the outside. The man will give you all the cues from his behavior and his relationship. I thought you were just going to say the man will give you everything you want if you give him your vagina, which is also true for a lot of simps out there and a lot of blue-pilled cucked pussy boy beta wimps. And, of course, those are the guys that went to her. You'll be able to pick out if this person is going to be long-term. What? Why would anybody take advice from a whore? Why would anybody take advice about dating from a hooker who has damaged goods and started her career as a stripper and then went into being a whore for 12 years, who was probably doing lines of coke off of various guys' cocks? I mean, who in the hell would take dating advice from this? Oh, solipsistically inclined women. Oh, I see. Women who have no clue how reality really works and don't realize that this woman, for her to be able to be a whore for 12 years and a stripper before that, and then to go into a magazine office or a newspaper office or to interview with a newspaper and talk about being a hooker for 12 years as if it was flipping burgers in such a nonchalant way, is damaged goods and doesn't know a goddamn thing about how normal people interact with each other. And you would not take advice from somebody like this. But of course, most of you feminists are borderline psychopaths anyway. have some kind of personality disorder, all right? So, sure, why not? Let's just go to a hooker, whore, prostitute, cunt, drug addict, probably former alcoholic, looking at her face, looks like an old fucking catcher's mitt. Yeah, so that's a perfect person to get dating advice from. Guys, this woman who had these 10,000 plus cocks passed her, notice she was worth more than 10,000 men. That doesn't mean that's the limit to how much sex she had. Many of these guys were return customers. So she was with 10,000 men, but how many times did she have sex? Because many of these guys would be coming back once a week. So imagine, in a 12-year period, this bro could have had sex 100,000 times. Maybe more. Oh, my God. Can you imagine what that pussy looks like? Holy shit. I can't even imagine. Oh, my God. That's got to be one of the most hideous sights you could ever see. I don't even want to think about it. I can't think of the exact kind of sandwich meat that might look like that pussy. I mean, roast beef doesn't even come close. Oy vey. That's a scary, scary picture. So 10,000 men could translate to 50, 100,000 sexual encounters or more. Oh, my God. Ay, ay, ay. And this woman is your typical woman. Okay? It's just that not all women get the chance, the opportunity, or have the looks to do what she did. But if they did, guess what? Most of them wouldn't. Guess what? Most of them do. It's called marriage. It's legal prostitution. That's all. This woman just went about things via a different tack. But all women are like her. Some are just not as fucked up and as much in the way of damaged goods as this woman, and they go about it through a more legal means, like suckering you into marrying them, having kids with them, so you can get, so they can get child support for 18 years, so they can get alimony forever. She's actually not too bright. She went about it the dumb way. Okay. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments section. Is this woman typical of all women, or is she just some kind of outlier? Yeah, not all women are like this cunt, whore, prostitute. Oh, no. Not all women are whores. They're not all hookers. Oh, no. Are you a NWALT or are you an AWALT? And you agree with me that all women are like this cunt, whore, prostitute, bitch who is flagrantly flaunting the fact that she slept with 10,000 men. Please like, subscribe. And if you feel so inclined, donate to my Patreon. You'll find a link in the description and the last 20 seconds of this video. I am the MGTOW philosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.